what is tip pooling generally? So let's talk about the terms. Any gratuity received by an employee indicated on any receipt as a gratuity or deposited in a place of business is the sole property of that primary direct service employee and cannot be taken by the employer except as required by law, right? So if an employee gets a tip, if a server gets a tip, then it's the property of the server. A primary direct service employee performs the main direct service for the customer and is to be considered the recipient of the tip. So the question then becomes, can an employer in any way say to the servers, hey, you have to share those tips with people like the busser, the runner, the hostess, right? Can we have policies in place that require tip sharing or tip pooling? The FLSA regulations make pretty clear that tips are the property of the employee, whether or not the employer has taken the tip credit. The employer must, however, notify employees if there's going to be a mandatory tip pool contribution amount, and may only take a tip credit for the amount the employee receives, and may not retain tips for any other purpose. So you can, as an employer, say, you know what, the hostesses, the bussers, they really are part of guest service for you, and we will require a certain percentage of tips go into this tip share, this tip pool. So who can participate in the tip pool? An occupation that customarily and regularly receives tips. That means more than $30 a month. And that includes waiters, waitresses, counter people who serve customers, bellhops, bussers, and service bartenders. However, not dishwashers, cooks, chefs, and janitors. Those back of the house or maintenance employees who are not direct service guest-facing employees. So this regulation, this DOL regulation, where does it stand? The Fourth Circuit and Ninth Circuit have different opinions on where it stands and whether back-of-the-house employees can be part of the tip pooling if a tip credit isn't taken. And the language of the Fair Labor Standards Act itself is really unclear. And so we're really waiting to see what the Supreme Court's going to do and if they're going to accept this appeal. So we're wait and see.